Welcome back to One Good Scare, and we are going live once again with all of your horror-related news, reviews, games, all kinds of stuff tonight. James T, how are you, sir?
Hello there.
Oh, sexy little hello there. I like that. I like that. Yeah, good. We've got lots to talk about tonight, lots of movie news and all the rest of it. My head looks massive and yours looks like a little pea. What's going on there?
Is that real life, isn't it?
You cheeky
this
bastard.
Is we're to scale on this.
Twat. Okie dokie. So let's crack on. Just before we do that, we'll quickly jump to the chat, see who we've got. We've got good old StreamYard. Thank you for joining. We have got Fuzzy of the Dunlop. Dim the lights. Hashtag spooky shit is back again.
Hashtag
Absolutely.
Spooky shit.
Absolutely. And we've got Jack. Nice to see you, Jack. I'm sure more people will be dropping in as we get going. So let's just crack straight on with today's news. Ooh, 13 Ghosts. I remember watching this many years ago and thinking it was the dog's bollocks. I absolutely loved this. And this is obviously the news that there is going to be a revival in the form of a TV show, I believe, James. Is that right?
Yeah, so they're doing a TV version of 13 Ghosts. I love this movie. This is the Matthew Lillard. I know it's a remake of the original, I think, 50s film, where they had like this gimmick where you had to wear these glasses or you couldn't see the ghosts, which I love. Like, that's crazy technology to have, I think, in like the 50s, you know. I've always loved that gimmick. But yeah, I grew up with this, like, I think 2002 version of the movie. Absolutely adore it. I think it's ripe for a TV show. You could like explore the background of each ghost in each episode. I think it's perfect setup for this.
So you mentioned in there that kind of 3D glasses thing. I don't know if you read the full article on this, James, but what they're saying is there's going to be an AI option for when you're watching it, so you can use your smartphone. And what it says is it brings the ghosts into your living room, so you'll use your phone and see the ghosts in the room with you.
That sounds pretty cool. I like that. I like when like shows, movies, whatever, do this like unique thing like that. So I'll definitely try that feature out.
James, Fuzzy saying you're a little bit quiet. Fuzzy, is he better now?
I just turned my mic up just there, so if I'm alright, just let me know. I know it's hard to tell. Sometimes I'm on shows and I'm way too loud, sometimes I'm way too quiet.
Yeah. Fuzzy saying, wasn't there a comic called Specs that used glasses to see ghosts? I remember the comic, Fuzzy. I don't think I ever actually read it, but I remember it because it had some great cover artwork from what I remember. And I think you're right. I think that's roughly what it was about. Phil, not a chance I would want that. I know, it'd be tremendous. Or even better, Phil, you know, don't tell your better halves that you've put the app on your phone. Watch this and then just casually pass the phone to them and see what happens. Yeah. That'll be fun. I'll be doing that with my wife.
I think it'd be cool. Like, you know, there's a few like sort of the like Google Glass style thing is coming back now. I think where you can watch TV on the wall. That'd be cool, like feature where it's like they're around you while you're watching it or something. It'd be spooky.
I miss my fridge. Tomorrow's World promised me that I was going to be able to watch TV on my fridge front and on my workspaces, my kitchen tops and all that kind of shit. That never happened.
I've never been sold a fridge, so I wouldn't know.
You've never been sold.
They're just there, forgetting. You know. I've never had to buy one.
I keep forgetting you're a child. I keep forgetting. Yeah, okie dokie. Anything else? Is Matthew Lillard going to be in this? Do you know?
No, I'm fairly certain it's a reboot. So I hope it does take elements of that original one. I think the designs of the ghosts were incredible in that one. Yeah. I really like the weird kind of glass cube of a house that they used in it as well. It was really unique. Like the set design was awesome. So yeah.
Long time since I've seen this movie, so maybe when the TV show does come out, we need to rewatch it.
It's on the list. Like if you take a look at the list, we threw that up ages ago. So like, it's a modern classic, cult classic anyway. So yeah,
good stuff. We've got Jeff here. Thank you very much for joining, Jeff. Hope you are well. Okay, next bit of news. Terrifier. So I don't know if you saw the news about this, James, but it made big headlines. Now, we talked a little while ago, didn't we, about the fact that the director had said that the opening scene of the new Terrifier movie was one of the worst things he'd ever had done.
He said he wasn't sure he'd be allowed to do it.
Yeah. So the news this week is that apparently they've lost a whole host of backing and funding from the big kind of names in Hollywood who are saying that they can't support the movie because the opening is so bad. It's got to be kiddies, hasn't it? It's got to be killing kids.
The teaser for the movie, I'm pretty sure, is from the opening scene, is him like dressed as Santa, and this kid comes down like, oh, Santa, and he turns around and it's like covered in blood or whatever. So we've speculated before that he's going to murder the kid, like, in a really gruesome, like, this is like a little, I think, 8-year-old girl. He's gonna, like, really gruesomely, horrifically, in the style that Terrifier does, murder that child. And I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I can't really imagine, like, movies have gone so far now with, like, violence. I just can't think of any where the line is that this could have crossed other than that.
I can't speak. It's great PR for it, because I have to say the Terrifier movies don't necessarily do anything to appeal to me. I haven't seen them, but from what I've seen, it's not a kind of a franchise that I want to rush out to see, you know.
It's not everyone's taste, I think.
Yeah, but all the talk about, oh my God, it's that bad, it kind of makes you think, well, I'll have to go and see it just to see what the crack is, you know.
Well, it's supposed to be in cinemas, so, like, do they not have a distributor at the moment? Because if nobody wants to touch the film, like, you'll have to do a Kickstarter to independently release it or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen.
To be honest,
one
I
of
don't
them,
want to. If what?
You've seen one of the Terrifying movies, haven't you?
I saw the first one, and yeah, it pushes the envelope, I think, in terms of violence, and, like, it's so horrific to its characters, like how Art the Clown, like, there's a lot of torture and it's played for laughs and stuff. So, like, you know, the argument is made that it's in bad taste already. So I just think if you're going that far and then you just make it a child and do it to a child, I just think that's her, like, you know. I understand you want to be extreme, you want to push the envelope, but I think that is too far.
Yeah. Let me know in the chat if any of you guys have seen the Terrifying movies, if it's your cup of tea or not, because I don't know. It's not a one I'm rushing to, but you're going to make us watch it, aren't you, probably, when we...
when this is coming around. Well, see, it's out in October, so we usually do, like, Halloween movies for October, so I don't know. Maybe around Christmas, because it's a Christmas movie.
See, I'm with Fuzzy. I think it sounds dreadful. Where's the entertainment in it? I think horror pushes, you know, your uncomfortable buttons, as it were. But if that's what it is, that's too far for me.
There's a point where it's in bad taste, and I think torturing a child for last shits and giggles is in bad taste. So
yeah. Good stuff.
That said, that might not be it, so we don't know.
We don't know. We don't know. Who's this? What's this all about?
This is Catherine O'Hara. So you might know her. This screenshot's from an amazing TV show called Schitt's Creek. Have you ever watched it?
I've seen bits of it.
She's fantastic in it. But she's also, like, the original Home Alone movie. She's the mom.
Yeah.
In bits and bobs around. So she has been cast in The Last of Us season 2. Now, look, thinking back to the cast of characters and that, there's not really anybody that matches her. So I'm curious, is this going to be, like, a really different interpretation of a character, or is she just going to play? You know, we've had a few Melanie Linsky's character in the first season. We've had a few original characters sprinkled in. So maybe this is, like, a brand new character we're going to see.
Okay. I mean, I know nothing about the next season. I don't want to know anything about it yet, so I'm kind of trying to avoid much news as possible. Certainly any spoilers, but I like her. She's a great actress, and as Fuzzy says, she's looking very good for her age.
Oh, incredible!
There was I can't remember if it was last month or the month before, but Macaulay Culkin got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yes,
and she was there with him.
Yeah,
it was lovely.
But you know what? Like, the Last of Us cast has always excelled, and this is just another great name to add to that, I think.
Yeah. It's certainly attracting some big actors, isn't it? Some big talent.
Definitely.
Good stuff. And speaking of Last of Us, we've also got this. What's this?
So there was a remaster of The Last of Us Part 2 released on the PlayStation 5, and with this came the original game had a documentary called Grounded. So it was like the making of the first game. So they've done for this remaster Grounded 2. So it's the making of the second game. And there's a moment in it where Neil Druckmann, who's the director of Uncharted, said that we have a concept for a third game, but, like, we've not done any work and we don't know if we're going ahead with it. So just him saying that, like, I already, based on, like, the success of the television show and the fact that they're going to run out of story at a point, I was pretty certain that they're working on The Last of Us Part 3 already. But, like, they have said before that they're not sure if they're doing it or not. But now I think it's pretty much a given that's going to happen.
How long does it take for them to actually make a game once they come up with the story? Are we talking years and years? Or?
Yeah, 5 years usually for development. So The Last of Us Part 2 was announced in December 2016, and they said we've just started, and it came out mid 2021.
Wow.
Or 2020, mid 2020. Yeah, so it'll be 4 years probably away. If they start today, like.
Yeah. It's a long wait. Oh, this is exciting news. This is just hot off the press.
Just dropped like an hour ago.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this for a while, haven't we? But this is now the confirmation that there is going to be a new Predator movie coming, and it's going to be called, what is it again, James? Is it
Badlands.
Badlands?
So this is by Dan Trachtenberg, who directed Prey, is returning for this. That gets me excited. Then I think they've said that's not going to be a direct sequel to Prey.
There is also going to be, I think this is a separate movie, but they're still talking about a direct sequel to Prey,
which I would
well.
love, because I love that main character. I think she's awesome. Or do maybe a television show with her. Amber Midthunder's character.
Yeah.
But anyway, when you say the word Badlands, like Badlands is sort of a desert, rocky desert kind of environment. Instantly, I thought cowboys. Are we getting like a Wild West?
Well, you see, I went World War Two.
You think?
Yeah, I went World War Two, kind of that kind of narrative.
Well, like the Badlands of like a battlefield kind of.
Yeah.
Which would you prefer?
I want both.
Yeah. I think Western would be good because it's like not too far after the setting of the last one. The last one was like late 1700s. You'd be going like 1860s for a Western. Yeah. So I'd love the idea of just like, I could imagine like a duel, between the Predator and a guy, you'd have,
yeah, that
cool.
would look very cool.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. And you have like the spaghetti Western music playing and shit. Like, I just think that'd be fucking awesome. But World War II, I've seen like some fan art of like a World War II Predator. I think that's just a great choice as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think, hopefully they've realised they're onto a winner here. And we've talked about it a lot. And I think it was Fuzzy that mentioned some great ideas originally. They're onto a winner in that your Predator movies franchise doesn't need to be sequential anymore. Just give you a standalone movie set at a different time period, and you could do so much with it. It could be fantastic,
The only thing is now they might go back on this, but I'm pretty sure, like, at least in the promotion for Prey, they said that this was the first time a Predator landed on Earth. So that would restrict you from going back. Because I'd love a samurai one. That's like, if I could have any setting, it'd be samurai. But I'll take a Western, like, that'd be great.
Fuzzy saying Badlands sound like Wild West Gold Rush.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. So
I think you're right. I think when they first put the Prey movie out, they probably put it as that tagline because it's interesting. No, it's the first time the Predator's come, and then they'll have seen the obscene amount of money they made from that movie. And
that's it. They never explicitly say that in the movie. It's never stated. So like, you could just do the samurai one, and I don't think anyone's going to question it.
I'm excited for this, mind. I thought this was a superb addition to the Predator franchise. So yeah, I'm really
imagine him with a cowboy hat and like a revolver around his waist. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, okay. Pirates.
Pirates is the other one I want. Yeah,
you could get it any kind of era, couldn't you? It would just be amazing.
Yeah, like ancient Rome, be a cool gladiator.
Oh, in the
capture
Colosseum,
and put him in the Colosseum. Yeah, exactly. There's so many options like you could do, and you could homage like any kind of movie genre with that as well.
Exciting stuff. Can't wait to hear more.
Gonna be great.
Evil Dead news. Fuzzy. Predators eating beans around a campfire. Farting competition. What's that off again? What's that movie? I love it.
I
don't think you're meant to like it anymore now. It's not PC. Blazing Saddles.
That's it.
Yeah, Blazing Saddles. Yeah. So anyway, we have got some Evil Dead news. So this is that there's going to be a new movie, isn't it? Is that right, James?
Yeah, new movie's been announced. A director's been attached. Give me a second. I'll get the guy up. Sebastian Van Isset. He's a French director. I've never heard of him. Never heard of any of the movies he's done. But this is sort of in line with what they did with the last movie. Like, Lee Cronin was, a lot of people didn't know who Lee Cronin was or had heard of Hole in the Ground. Like, I was familiar because I'm Irish and it was a fairly big movie here. But yeah, they said it's gonna be. He's using words like nasty, really nasty and horrible, and I'm just like, awesome. This sounds great. I loved Evil Dead Rise. I just love that we're getting. Already the wheels are turning for another one.
Yeah. I mean, Evil Dead Rise was a surprise hit for me. It was far, far better than I expected.
Yeah.
It was still very much Evil Dead. Do you know what I mean? It was cheesy at points and tongue in cheek, but some of the practical special effects were brilliant, and it was pretty stomach churning at times. So I'm excited to get more from this universe.
Yeah, I also really like the idea of just having up and coming horror directors just do a one off. Like like just like to go barrel through them like that. You know, I think that's really cool, and like you really build out your mythology that way. But this is they have used the word it's a spin off, so it's not a direct. I don't know if they technically consider Rise then a spin off as well. But yeah, just a different flavor Evil Dead movie every time, I think is really cool. I think they've mentioned that they're looking at possibly continuing like an Ash thing as well separately. So yeah, but like I'm stoked, and like this shouldn't be that far away. Like Rise was only a year between that being announced and coming out, so this shouldn't be too far away.
It's quick. We've got Andy in the chat. Nice to see you, Andy. Hope you're well, bud. Fuzzy saying boo. Fuzzy saying Evil Dead is a franchise I've never enjoyed. Done nothing for me whatsoever.
That's a shame. It's so much fun.
I can understand that, mate. I'd be interested to know why, Fuzzy. Because for me, when I've gone back and watched, James will hate us for this, but when I went back and watched Evil Dead 2, it's very cheesy and silly, and
that's the point.
Point.
And then like Army of Darkness is like adventure, a historical adventure movie. You know, like there's a different tone to all of them. You know.
I'd be interested, Fuzzy, if you've seen the latest Evil Dead Rise, because that's more of your tongue-in-cheek horror, but it's pretty good. So it'd be interesting to see if you watched that, mate. Okay, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. This is the Jordan vampire movie. Well, I'm saying vampire movie. It's still not really confirmed, is it? All we know now is it Warner Brothers have confirmed that they have picked it up.
Warner Brothers has bought it now, so we're talking about the rights. They did say vampire, didn't they? It's a vampire movie.
I think, but there's absolutely no detail about it. There is hints that it might be a period piece as well, so it might be an older thing.
Right. Give me a sec. There was another bit of news about this, just like yesterday.
Well, speaking of Dracula, was James?
Sorry,
all I could find was that Warner Brothers have got it and they're distributing it, which is pretty cool. But speaking of Dracula, the James Tynion Dracula miniseries has just concluded, and it was really cool, really cool, very good read. I enjoyed that a lot.
I do hope it's because I've mentioned before I like my kind of like 1880s Victorian era kind of setting for vampire stuff. So like I hope it's in that tone, you know.
Yeah. Should be interesting. I threw this in because I noticed this on my Facebook feed or whatever that Mads has been doing. Fuzzy, I wasn't going to pull you up because I thought, maybe you've read something I haven't. Animal influences. I thought that's odd, but anime is what you're saying. Anime.
That's
influences.
it. Thank you. Jesus, Fuzzy did his fucking research. Yeah, so it's gonna be period piece with undead and anime influences. That's interesting. Like it's gonna be in terms like I'm just imagining now visually how it's gonna look like. You know,
we'll have to
like, sliding bike shots and stuff like that. Like
we'll have to review it on Comic Lad Simon's channel then if it's anime related, won't we?
Nah, it's all right. We'll do it here.
I popped this slide in because did you watch the Hannibal TV series?
I watched the first season and then I don't know. I really loved it, but I just didn't. It's one of those same with Stranger Things. I just didn't continue on after that. You know, but I thought Mads Mikkelsen is fucking incredible in it. Like, and I've read Red Dragon. Like, it's a great book. And I know that they adapt it in like the third season, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, the performances in it are amazing. Me and my wife, this was one of those ones I think during COVID where we watched all 2 or 3 seasons of it, whatever it is, kind of sequentially every night, as it were, and just loved it. There's no getting away. There are episodes and bits in it that are just bonkers, and I was left scratching my head at points. But it ended with a bit of a kind of a literally cliffhanger. But anyway, that was 10 years ago. I didn't realise it's 10 years since it's finished.
Mad,
you know?
Isn't it? Yeah.
And Mads was being interviewed recently and someone asked him about it and he said everybody in the cast are still dead up for doing another one. He said that Hannibal's story's not finished yet, and there are constantly conversations and talks about the script and what could happen next and things like that. So 10 years down the line, but it sounds like people are still interested. But at what point is it too late? Do you know what I mean? At what point is it, if they were to bring it back this year, do you know what I mean? 10 years later, is the audience there, do you think?
Well, I mean, we've seen various shows kind of have revivals lately, like Dexter, you know, as a recent example. That's sort of the first link I would make.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it would find its audience. I know the show did extremely well on Netflix, and people were sort of hoping Netflix would pick it up, and they didn't for whatever reason. Yeah. But I'd love to see it. Like that would give me. knowing that it ends on a cliffhanger is also, I think, a contributor to why I didn't just continue on with it, because
Yeah.
I don't want to get to a point and be like, oh, that's it. So like I think that would bring in new fans if they announced the kind of revival of it, or at least like a one final season kind of thing to wrap it up.
Yeah. Fuzzy's bang on here saying Hannibal's so underrated as a series. It's just so classy. The food, the clothes, everything just works. Absolutely, Fuzzy. I completely agree. And I'm a massive Anthony Hopkins fan. And I Hannibal Lecter is one of those characters that he's just synopsis with. So, he's linked to. But I don't know. I think Mads's performance is a different beast. But it's almost sexual. Do you know what I mean? It's like
my favorite
just
scenes
brilliant.
in that show where when him and Lawrence Fishburne are sitting and just eating, and like he's just like, what is this? And it's like, oh, it's rabbits, it's, whatever with this and that and that, and I'm like, oh, I love this for some reason. I don't know, like it's good.
Very cool. Very, very cool. So I would have to say I would love to see it come back. I really did enjoy the series. So yeah. Couple of toy bits of news just wanted to mention. These are all from Trick or Treat Studios. We've got some Terrifier Blood and Bubbles. So this is a bar of soap that when you wash yourself with it, it foams red blood.
That's
colour.
cool. I like that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's
I remember
cool.
being at a con and there was like bloody bath bombs, and I'm like, oh, that's a fun idea.
Yeah, so I quite like that. The other thing are Chainsaw Massacre skateboards. I'm not a skateboarder. I'll surprise you to know, James. I'm not a skateboarder.
Really, you look like you have such good balance.
I do. Yeah. But you might be Are you a skateboarder?
No, I had a skateboard when I was younger, but I used to just lie down on it and go down hills. And I'd sing, I believe I can fly. That's a true story. That actually happened.
I can actually...
Whenever someone says skateboard, I just think back to that. That's my memories of it.
When I was...
smack my face off a curb once.
Well, I was going to say, when I was very young, I was skateboarding on my knees. I didn't stand up. And I hit a concrete cow pat. So a lump of concrete that had been dropped on the road or whatever came off and scraped on my face. My lip was...
Jesus. That's why you look like that now, is it?
That's why we turn the lights
you
off.
skated into that one, Peter.
That's why we turn the lights off. You know what
I mean? But like, this isn't necessarily for... I know like a lot of people just collect skateboards like this, you know?
Yeah.
Nobody's putting wheels on this thing. Like, it's going up on a wall. And like,
Yeah.
I think it's also... Your Texas Chainsaw diehards are going to want one just because it's a cool, unique part of your selection. And
Our pal Efren picked up a skateboard from Star Wars Celebration, I'm sure. But again, like you say, you don't have wheels and stuff on it. It's just literally for the board art, I think.
yeah, I'm a big fan of a musician. I've mentioned him to you before, but for anyone watching that doesn't know, Sean James, musician I really love, and he had a skateboard out before. And I didn't get it at the time because what am I going to do with the skateboard? But I kind of regret it now. It's like, they look cool.
Yeah. Jack's just saying he prefers Mads over Anthony. You know what? Yeah, I think I might be the same. It's two very different performances, mind, isn't it? Like I say, Hannibal Lecter's almost this kind of cold, you know he's crazy. Whereas Mads is almost like seductive in some ways.
I think for, a lot of those as well, like, the character's in a different place. Imagine if they'd gotten to do Sounds of the Lambs and it was Mads in the cage doing the shanty line, like how he would have done it. Like, he could have been the best.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Okie dokie, moving on. This is just fresh out. This is Bride of Frankenstein figure playset from NECA. So you get the Frankenstein figure, and then you get the kind of the stone chair that he gets bolted into with some various bits and bobs of accessories. I think the face sculpt on that's pretty good, mind. I think that's a decent looking figure.
Yeah, I assume... I haven't watched Bride of Frankenstein. I assume it's more accurate to that movie. Like, it looks different to, like, the classic... Boris Karloff. I assume it's Boris Karloff in the second one.
Yeah. You get 3 different head sculpts with it as well, so that's pretty cool. I mean, I don't collect this scale, as you know, but I think it's a nice looking figure.
I like the diorama kind of elements that they put out with these things as well, with coffins and mummies' tombs and stuff like that. Like, I dig it.
You pay for... Oh, I've gone all blurry.
It's better that way, Peter.
Cheeky bastard. Pretty cool. Yeah. I thought you might like this. Ooh. This is a Mezco ghost face with 4 different head sculpts, mask sculpts, and then all of those cool looking accessories. You get the scythe, you get the blades, the knives, you get the knife with kind of the blood splat halfway down the blade, which I think looks brilliant.
I love that. You just get a generic like figure and stabbing them. Like,
So I think that's pretty cool. It's 1/12 scale. Nice looking figure. Nice looking figure. Is that something that would interest you?
I know Mezco's quite pricey.
This is 95 quid. Sorry, $95. This.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll see, because I like the NECA have a few of them that like look pretty good as well, and like I've been looking at a 1/6 for a while now. See on the bottom there, there's popcorn, which I think is a cool accessory to have. What's the other one there?
The remote control, which is odd. I don't know why you get a remote control.
So this is the weird thing about like Ghostface figures are licensed by like the company that owns Ghostface, not the Scream movies.
Yeah.
The Scream movies licensed the mask as well, so they can't, like, that's why there's a scythe with this, because they can't say it's like the Scream figure, it's the Ghostface figure. So like it is a bit annoying, I think, that they don't have like voice changers, phones, stuff like that. I think they think that's too close to like the movie, that they're gonna get sued or something. So that's an unfortunate omission, I think.
Fuzzy makes a good point here, saying that it bothers him because you're paying for a cape and a mask and there's no detail to it. Absolutely, Fuzzy. I was looking at a 1/6 scale Ghostface, and you're right, I couldn't get away from the fact there wasn't much to the figure that you're actually paying for.
Yeah.
There was a recent release, a third-party figure that, I don't know if you saw it, James.
Yeah, I did.
But I saw, oh, that looks interesting. But then all of the face sculpts were based on that scary movie thing.
Yeah,
so it was
like
weird
the
smiles and
WhatsApp
things.
stuff. Yeah, I didn't like
it did no. I think you got a couch with it or something ridiculous. It did.
Yeah, it's like you'd be lying on the phone like, what's up?
It did nothing for us, I have to say.
Yeah. No, to be like, I think part of it is the quality of the actual like figure, underneath it. But I think you're absolutely right, there's no head sculpt. But that's, I think, why they're throwing in 4 different masks.
Yeah.
And all these different accessories.
Yeah. This is from Y Studios.
Y is right.
Yeah. This is from Hellraiser, Pinhead, from Hellraiser. I've got, you see the spinal column he's holding there?
Yeah.
I've got that. You could get that from...
Predator?
No, well, I've got it on my Predator, but you could get it from one of these dodgy kind of toy websites for £1.50. So I got one for my Predator, so my Predator's holding it. So an interesting little addition there. I don't know about this. I mean, the head sculpt's not bad.
if you're a huge Hellraiser fan, this is your only option really, other than like probably in 2006 when like some other company did one. It doesn't look great, like the head sculpts, but like it looks it looks acceptable, I think. And like I know Y Studios did they do the Ghostface as well?
No, I don't think so. No.
What I remember the first time I saw them was in the last couple of months. They have another figure they announced as well that also didn't look great, I think.
Yeah.
But like it's probably like 120, 130 pounds.
Yeah.
Like it's all right.
It's all right. It's passable, isn't it? If
I don't like Hellraiser. I've never watched it, so I know big thing I've never seen. But yeah, I've no interest in this at all. But if you're a big fan, go for it.
First, you got one with Doctor Doom, Marvel Legends. So did I, mate. That is it. It's meant to be Thanos, isn't it? I think it's meant to be Thanos' skull that he pulls out in spine. Yeah. Not bad. Not one for me, but not bad. Now, James, next is the figure you I know will be jumping straight on because you'll just love it. This is Bigfoot. Look at that.
Of course.
Look at that. This is Bigfoot from what's that say?
Super Mad
Toys.
They are Super Mad.
Does it say toys or does it say tots?
Toys, I think. Super Mad toys.
Yeah. It's got magnets in its hand and on the log.
It's custom made. Like who? Like how many of these? I haven't seen this, but this is atrocious, isn't it? That's really fucking bad.
To be fair, it looks pretty good in comparison to what it's based off. So this is based off the $6 Million Man, and it's meant to be a robotic Bigfoot. They're selling it as just Bigfoot, but you can see they've got the electronics panel, which looks shit.
Okay, so this isn't an original design. This is based on a thing.
Yeah,
and it looks exactly like that thing.
Pretty much.
Well, then the figure's not bad. It's the design of the character. I think is pretty.
I can't get over the fact that they've put magnets in its hand which stick onto the log, so you can have it lifting the log, which is cool. But the promotional picture there they've got of it on the other side with its hands open, you can see the magnet kind of circle. Do you know what I mean? It just looks cack.
Well, you better have him holding the log then, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
at least it's not like black or just like unpainted. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's they made an effort to cover it up.
I think it was Fuzzy. I think it was Andre the Giant. It was from $6 Million Man back in the day. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. And I guess this always interests us in terms of collectibles and toy markets and stuff like that. Who's out there saying they want this figure? Do you know what
I've
I mean?
not seen even like a figure of the $6 million man. Is there? Are they doing a
think
line
this,
of them?
well, I think the same company did a one a while ago.
Is this an iconic episode of that show?
Yeah,
or
it is.
something?
It is pretty
Okay,
much. Yeah,
well
it is well known. Yeah.
Yeah, like you would do $6 million man, and then this. This is the next thing people would want.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, who might have shit on people's
Yeah.
sugar? You know.
I'm not buying it. I wanted to just touch on this very, very briefly. This is Alien issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. I kind of spotted that issue number 4 was out this week, and I thought, you know what? I've never tried any of the Marvel Alien comics since they've kind of had the brand, as it were. So I thought I'll go back to the current series and I'll read issue number 1. Little did I friggin' know that it's on to like volume 4 now, and each volume's only got a few issues, and you're meant to kind of continue them on. So buying issue 1 of this, there's a whole backstory I've completely friggin' missed out.
That's the annoying thing, isn't
irritates
it?
us.
But you just kind of have to pick a point and go, okay,
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
to be reasonable, because you're not going to get back up to that point anyway.
Yeah,
So, like,
absolutely. Yeah. So this kind of starts off with a very, very typical kind of Aliens synopsis of a big ship visiting a planet where there's been a downed craft which has gone silent, and they send the team down to kind of explore it and find out what's gone on. But there's a hidden narrative of they know that there's aliens there and all the rest of it. It was actually quite interesting. I did enjoy it. I am going to go forward and read the next 3 issues that are already out for this. It introduces some interesting versions of the aliens, of the xenomorphs, the kind of, because this is an ice planet, so they've adapted to the ice, so they're kind of a white coloured xenomorph instead
that's
of black.
cool. I like that.
Which is pretty cool, and they're living under the frozen sea. So it interested us enough to read on. The artwork was pretty nice as well. So yeah, recommend reading the first issue. I'll probably go back as well and have a look and see what happens.
This is unrelated to, because I remember you mentioned there was like a what if alien thing.
Yeah, this is totally separate. So this is
issue 4 at the moment.
So its current issue is issue 4, but I've gone back and read issue 1. Yeah. It's, I think, happening in the Marvel universe somewhere. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what it's meant to be, but I don't really know.
Well, I mean, is that good? It's not good, is it?
I don't know.
I know, like we've had, wasn't there Wolverine versus Predator?
Yeah, and that's actually quite an interesting little miniseries.
I don't mind if it's like, oh, we're doing an alien crossover or whatever, but if I was reading an alien comic just called Alien, I would like it to be set in the movies universe and not the Marvel one, you know?
Yeah. I might be wrong. I need to read more to get a better understanding of it. But from what I've read so far, there's one little issue. Very, very good. I'm also just going to mention as well a couple of other books I've not got slides for because I'm sick of banging on about them. But Blood Commandment issue number 4 comes out next week, 4 of 4. We had the pleasure of reading issue 4 early because the writer stroke artist Simon sent her a copy yesterday, and it is phenomenal.
Look at you pulling strings, making connections. Huh?
Brilliant little vampire tale. So it's only 4 issues. Really recommend people pick that up. The artwork is sublime. Also today we had issue number 3 of Beneath the Trees, What Nobody Sees. Stunning. Just absolutely stunning. So again, recommend you check that out. It was a really, well, I thought it was a really strong issue this week. Not lots of action and murders and things like that. A slower pace, but I thought it really was a beautifully written book. Okay, we're on to stuff we've watched and trailers we've watched and things like that. I watched this week. This is Red Door. What comes before it?
Insidious.
Insidious, yeah.
So, you know, when you mentioned to me earlier that you'd watch this, I was like, which one is this? But this is the one that ties back to the original. It's got Patrick Wilson and stuff. Okay, yeah. It's supposed to be the demon from the original, isn't it?
Dog shit.
Really? That's a shame.
It was. Maybe I'm not invested in the Insidious universe, and I think I messaged you, James, and said the first thing that threw us was Patrick Wilson also plays the Warren Ellis in the not Warren Ellis Warren. Is it Warren Ellis?
The Warren is the last name.
The Warrens, yeah.
Warrens, yeah.
In the Conjuring universe. So I didn't understand what the hell was going on, because in this one he's divorced. I was thinking he didn't get divorced in.
Yeah. Why
so
isn't this the 70s anymore?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it took us a while to get my head around that malarkey. Yeah. I remember watching Insidious when it first came out and thinking it was all right, but it didn't blow us away.
For me, it was the most terrifying movie I've ever fucking seen. Like, it was proper. I think Insidious is one of the scariest movies ever made. Like, I think
this relies very heavily on out of focus things happening in the background and slowly walking towards you.
I love that
for your frights.
I love the Where's Wally thing. Now I've not seen this movie, but like just from that original, one of the best moments I've ever had in the cinema was in the first Insidious. So there's a bit where the mom is walking, she's carrying washing, and she's walking through like a small room from one door to the other, and there's like a little kid with a cap on facing the wall that she just walks past and doesn't notice. And I was there like, and I went to my mate, did you fucking see that? The thing is, he was like, no, what are you talking about? And I was like, there was a kid. And I started doubting myself then. I was like, did I even see that? Or was that just like a co-hanger or something? And then you see the kid later dancing. I was like, I fucking knew it. It was a kid. I think that shit is genius, genuinely. Yeah. So if this movie has like anything like that, like I'll enjoy it for that at least.
Not to that kind of level or excitement, okay. I don't think.
That's unfortunate.
I found this quite dull, if I'm honest. And I think part of the problem with it might have been that they tried to shift it into a kind of an American sorority kind of kids on campus setting, which was just crap, because it's following Patrick Bateman's son going to university. Patrick, what you call Wilson, going to university and whatnot, and it's just it didn't do it for us, I'm afraid. Fuzzy's just saying finished Mr. and Mrs. Smith. First 7 episodes were very good. The last episode bored me to tears. Oh, that's a shame. Don't know if I missed something or wasn't paying attention. My daughter started watching it, Fuzzy, and she said it's great. So yeah, I'll definitely give it a go.
Yeah, I will. So.
Thingy Glover, isn't it? Isn't it?
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover.
Yeah, it's great. So
yeah, I'll give that a go. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend this one. Now you sent us this over. This is Resident Evil 2. Is that right?
This is Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City.
Yeah.
This is,
well, when you sent this, I thought that rings a bell. So I've gone on and watched the trailer. I watched this last year, so right. I have seen this one.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so get some of your thoughts on it then, whatever you remember. I've been playing Resident Evil 2, and I was just sort of in a Resi mood. I was over at my mate's house, and we were scrolling through Netflix. Mate Jeff, he asked me to give him a shout out, so there it is.
Hi, Jeff.
We were over in his house. We were over in his house and saw it on Netflix. Oh, fuck, I haven't seen this. Let's give it a watch. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I struggle with the Mila Jovovich ones. I remember I saw one of them in the cinema and I liked it. I think the fourth one or something. But literally, the last one I've tried 4 times, I think, to watch it, and I just fall asleep every time. Like, I just can't stick through it, And they change so much of the story. It doesn't even remotely resemble the games anymore. This is like a very true to the games for the most part, like adaptation of the first 2. I think it's great. It's got issues, like there's some iffiness to it, but like I remember when the trailer came out just a month before it came out, people were saying the CG looks terrible, and I thought it looked alright in the movie. I don't know, was the color grading not done or something in the trailer? It looked fine in the movie. Cast's really good. Kea Scolodario from Skins and Pirates of the Caribbean plays the lead, and she was great. I think she's also in that Crawl. I think that's her in it.
Yeah,
as well.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. But she's Claire Redfield. She was excellent in it. I really like the guy who plays Wesker. He's from the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
Leon was a bit useless in it. Not fat, like the actor doesn't really look that much like him, and he sort of doesn't do anything in the movie till the end. He's just a dipshit. So that was maybe a bit of a letdown. But Robbie Amell's a great Chris Redfield. I just honestly loved it, and they're apparently doing a second one called the Umbrella Chronicles. So yeah, stoked for that. I think this is good. I want these movies to do really well, because I think it should show like people who make adaptations that sticking close to that source material is like a good thing. Yeah. So this didn't do as well as the Mila Jovovich ones. So I'm hoping the second one comes out and does great.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, it's a year or so since I've watched it, but I remember thinking, I don't think I was blown away by it, but I certainly didn't think it was shit. I think I remember thinking, oh, this was all right. This was passable.
Some really cool stuff. I mean, there's some shot for shot like adaptations of sequences in the game. And I'm just like, yeah, I love this. I think because Neil McDonough,
Yeah.
he plays like the sort of evil scientist, and he kind of transforms towards the end. And there's
And I
sort of
like him.
like, I like him too, but there's a bit where he sort of half transforms, and it looks a bit silly. Like it's just he has a big arm, and they like don't do the rest of him. Whereas in the game, he's this big bulbous monster, and he becomes that later. But yeah,
And you've got what you call him? I don't remember the actor's name, but he's from Gotham. He plays the police detective. He played a police detective in Gotham.
Oh, Donald Logue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the dickhead sheriff and stuff. I thought it was funny as well. Like a lot of the time, people are just shitting on Leon, and like, although it's a bit like, oh, I love Leon in the games, for this character, I'm like, yeah, fuck this guy. Yeah, this rookie. So,
Seem
like,
to remember, am I right in thinking, because I am trying to hit the old brain cells here, am I right in thinking there's a pretty cool sequence where the creature's swinging through the kind of the roofs towards them? Is that this one?
Yes.
I'm sure they go in to try and find the
Lickers.
little girl. Yeah, and the lickers are in the kind of the rafters or whatever above them. Yeah. Fuzzy is just saying that Neil plays the perfect bad bastard. He certainly
Really
does.
does. Just
And
he
Def.
ruined himself since like Desperate Housewives, where he's just like pure evil in that show. Like, and just, like, anytime my girlfriend sees him, she's like, "I hate this guy," and I'm like, "Oh, he's a great actor. Like, he played Hulk in the cartoon and shit. Like, I love this guy."
Jeff, Fuzzy's happy to meet up for a coffee, mate. So just give him a shout.
He only does beers.
Who? Jeff?
Yeah.
Fuzzy.
I don't think he even drinks water, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Next, now this is the trailer for A Quiet Place. Is it Day Zero? I think it's called, or something.
Day one,
Day One or something. I can't remember.
or the first day or something.
First day, yeah. I love this franchise. I have to say, loved the first two movies. First one was stronger than the second one, I think. But I thought this trailer was cracking. I really enjoyed it. What did you think of it?
Loved it. I kind of been keeping away from what this movie was, other than the title. I'd seen it. I'm like, oh, I think the best sequence in that series so far is the opening of the second movie, where he's at the baseball game and the aliens come down and just seeing how it began. So I think, do a whole movie around that. I think it's a stroke of genius to set it in New York as well, because like the big bustling city that never sleeps, how they handle this, I think is really ingenious. I think, because these movies, they're not trashy, like they take themselves very seriously. I think you're gonna have some like 9/11 parallels and stuff like that as well in there. That'll probably kind of tug on the heartstrings, So I'm really excited. Now, Jimon Hounsou, is he in The Last of Us? Not Last of Us. Is he in The Quiet Place 2 as well?
I don't think so.
Toward like in the middle, like one of the characters finds a group of people that like have lived.
I honestly
not
can't
their leader?
remember. He might be. I honestly can't remember,
I'll look that
James.
up. I'll double check that.
Yeah, it's that long
It might
since I've
be
seen
another
it.
actor.
I don't think Krasinski's in it, Fuzzy.
No,
I don't know if he's involved
he's
with directing it or anything like that, but I don't think
I
he's in
assume
it.
he's a producer, but that's it.
Just speaking of this movie, it reminds us of the Sandra Bullock movie. Was it called Bird Box?
Yes.
There was a sequel to that, wasn't there? Bird Box Europe or Bird Box Italy or something
Something
like that.
and nobody cared.
I was going to say, I don't think I've heard anything about it. I've certainly not seen it. I don't think it's even on Netflix.
Yes, he is in A Quiet Place 2.
Okay, so it's the same character.
Same character, yeah.
Okay. Fuzzy saying the first one, I found myself holding my breath with the characters. I couldn't help myself. Fuzzy, I did exactly
eat my
the
popcorn.
same.
Couldn't even eat my popcorn. It was so quiet. Like you could hear a pin drop in the cinema. So like, yeah.
And it's a good movie when the emotion absolutely hits you, because that scene on the bridge where the little kid, is taken.
Such a shock.
Horrific.
Yeah.
Just horrific.
You feel it coming as well when he grabs the little toy and you're like, oh shit. Terrifying.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Now, this looks interesting.
What a great idea for a movie. like a late night host.
Well. Do you remember when we did, was it a year or so ago, we did kind of a countdown over the Halloween period of our favourite horror movies, and I mentioned a UK live broadcast which had Michael Parkinson, and they did kind of a live ghost hunt. It's called Ghost Watch. I don't know if you were on that show or not. And it was broadcast back in the 80s. And it was set up as a proper, exactly the same as this, a proper kind of live thing, and then the ghost starts. Do you know what you were talking about before, about the camera panning and you see something stand in the curtains and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but nobody else mentions it.
Yeah.
It was all that all the way through, and it was a bit like War of the Worlds. It was all a gag. They hadn't really broadcast that it was a
Right,
mockumentary kind of thing. So people were going crazy because they thought it ends with the studio going to darkness and Michael Parkinson, who was a big time presenter at the time, kind of speaking in this ghost's voice kind of thing and going into the camera. It was horrific. That's what I got from this trailer. It was those kind of vibes, but with some interesting special effects. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. So what did you think of this trailer?
I love the idea. I think it's interesting. I love Desmalkian. What's his first name? David Desmalkian.
Yeah.
You know, Polka Dot Man,
Polka Dot.
and The Dark Knight and Ant-Man and stuff. So yeah, I'm absolutely stoked for this. I love 70s settings as well. I just love the costumes and everything, and just it looks spooky. Now this is a Shudder movie, so finally, because I've been paying for Shudder. I've been paying for Shudder for like 2 years, and I've watched one thing on it. Two things maybe. I think I watched the Elvira yoke as well. So like finally we can watch this. We can watch this day one now, and we'll have a review out or whatever. So
I guess the only thing that concerned us was I loved the look of it. I loved the settings, but they showed you some kind of creature effects, and it looked pretty ropey, I have to say.
Shudder budget, man. There's not much money behind this, I wouldn't think.
Yeah. And also, you know, this has been done before. This looks great. Don't get us wrong. I'm looking forward to it. But it does remind us of, I banged on as well a long time about a series called Inside Number 9 with the guys who do League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw on their last series, they did an episode where when the episode was about to be aired, there was a BBC announcement saying that they had to change the broadcast, and instead they were going to broadcast a new game show that was being trialled.
Yes, I remember you mentioning this.
I can't remember who hosted it. Was it Bradley Walsh or someone like that? It was some...
Lee Mack?
Oh, it was Lee Mack. Yeah, it was Lee Mack. And it was just done perfectly. And this is kind of what this is, again, reminding us of. I can't wait. This will be really interesting. Oh.
Man, I forget everything about this trailer. To be honest, I don't remember a single thing.
So I've not seen the first one. This is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, number 2. I've not seen the first one. Yeah. I kind of assumed that the Winnie the Pooh character was a guy dressed up, but this looks like it's actual creatures.
They're supposed to be the bear. Now you can already, I know, believe it or not, Peter, you can already tell they have a bit more of a budget in this one, because the first one was purely ran on the hype of it's public domain now. Yeah. We're doing a horror movie, and to be fair, it sort of led the way. Like it was, a new frontier. It started now, I think, with we're seeing this left, right, and center with Steamboat Willie, and I think a Cinderella one was announced.
Yeah, there's 2 Cinderella ones coming out.
Peter Pan and stuff. But it's fucking awful. Like, it's an awful movie. It's like I barely even qualify. I think it barely even qualifies as a movie. So
what, the first one?
This is just awful. So bad.
So this one introduces us to Tigger and Piglet. The trailer looked okay. I thought the trailer, well, for your low budget slasher kind of monster thing, I thought it looked like some of the kills were really quite graphic and stuff like that.
Well, the first one is graphic for the budget that they had. Well, and like, to be fair, a horror movie can do everything terribly except for the kills. Like, if the kills are good, you have a good horror movie, really, or a horror movie that will find its fans. I think the design, like, for what it is, I like the Tigger design. I think he looks kind of cool. But like, Piglet is sort of man-sized. Piglet's supposed to be tiny. Like, it's very strange.
Yeah, that's what you're focusing on here. Piglet's the wrong size. Yeah.
Well, so who's his Eeyore is in the first one?
Eeyore.
I was thinking of this. Yeah, it's just bad.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll watch it. We'll watch the first one for when this comes out.
Don't make us watch it.
Yeah, we have to. That's our promise to you, the viewers. We watch everything.
Great. So you don't have to.
Yeah.
Silent Hill: The Short Message. I've not got a clue about this. What's this?
So there was this is a game that's out now. There was a Sony PlayStation State of Play last week, and there was a trailer for Silent Hill 2 remake that we'll talk about in a minute. But this dropped sort of out of nowhere. So this is like a 1 hour first person kind of experience. I've not played it yet. I have it downloaded. I was thinking maybe find a way to do it on the channel together. It's getting reviews, unfortunately. I think like it's funny because I banged on a bit about a game called PT, which was like a teaser for a Silent Hill game that they've done before. That was Kojima who did Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
And it wound up getting, that game wound up getting cancelled. But the PT, the playable teaser, is like one of the best horror experiences ever made. And that was like, I think they were trying to do something similar here, and just apparently it's just not as good, really, like at all. I think there's a bit more of a story to it than PT has. Like PT is very just spooky vibes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I want to give it a go. I like that Silent Hill, and there was a weird mobile game announced like a few months ago where people vote on what happens or something like that. I think we talked about it here. But I just like that Silent Hill as an IP is sort of re-emerging now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been gone for so long. It's great.
As I've said to you before, Silent Hill doesn't have any real kind of pull on me. I don't really remember playing the game. I'm sure I've watched a dodgy movie about it, but
Right.
I'm not that.
With the sexy nurses.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Silent Hill XXX.
Yeah. Don't know what this is either.
Death Stranding 2. Did you watch the trailer?
No.
For fuck's sake, Peter.
Sorry. It's
I
so
wanted
harsh.
your opinion on this.
Sorry, I was pulling. Yeah, no, I didn't. No, I was
Okay.
eating my pizza. Sorry.
You could have watched it. You could multitask now. You're not that. You're past that age now. Right?
Past that age. Yeah.
So this is Death Stranding 2. Did you have the Silent Hill 2 thing as well?
What?
Silent Hill 2 trailer?
Yeah, maybe. I think I can't remember.
You don't?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. Can't remember if it's on the slides or not.
Okay. Anyway, this is Death Stranding 2. So Death Stranding, I have a poster of it here. This is by Kojima. So this is the game that sort of Silent Hills turned into, I guess, when he left Konami and started with Sony. So, yeah, the concept of the game, it stars Norman Reedus. The first game had Mads Mikkelsen in it as well.
That's the guy from Walking Dead, yeah?
Yes, yeah. But it's sort of like a post-apocalyptic thing, and you play as a delivery guy who has to like journey across this like barren wasteland, and there's these kind of like invisible monster things that you, like, and there's like black ink. It's all weird, right? It's all very strange. But the trailer, this is a new trailer for the second one. There's a bit of gameplay in it, but it's just so fucking weird. Like it's like they've cracked the weirdness up to 11. There's one of the characters that died in the first game is played by Troy Baker, comes back, and he's got like an electric guitar and he's playing it, and the next thing it turns into like a axe and he starts swinging it at this big robot and shit. It's like, what the fuck is this? I'm so upset you didn't watch it because I really would have loved your opinion on it, but it's strange, but it looks very, very Kojima-esque and weird, and yeah, I'm excited for it. It's gonna be good.
Silent Hill. I haven't got a slide for Silent Hill, so what's that one about?
So that was the remake of the second game. There was a gameplay trailer. Came out at the State of Play last week.
I did watch that.
Yeah, looks good. I think I love that for that game. Silent Hill 2 was a classic, you know. The gameplay looks a little clunky, maybe. But I think that you could argue that's on purpose because like the main character is not supposed to be like trained in fighting, so he's just like flailing his pipe or whatever.
It felt, I mean, like I say, I'm not familiar really with that universe, but the things with like legs attached to legs, it was weird. It was odd.
So there's like, I know particularly with the second game, there's like a psychosexual element to it. That's why there's like sexy nurses, and like Pyramid Head is like a character from that one as well. Because like Silent Hill as a place, it sort of like incepts your mind and kind of like pulls out your deepest fears and shames and stuff. Like that's how the kind of setting works. And like there's, it's a very twisted main character in that one as well. But like it's an absolute, like it's everybody would say it's the best game in the series, and I like seeing it with this fresh coat of paint, and I'm excited to play it again.
Good stuff. Now we've both been to see this. This is Baghead. Which is an interesting little film about basically a young lady who inherits her father's pub, and in the basement of the pub there is a creature that if you feed it a kind of a memento of a dead person, it becomes the person, and you can talk to it for, is it 2 minutes or 90 seconds or something like that?
2 minutes, I think.
Yeah, and then basically it's a story of it trying to get out. What did you think of it?
So Freya Allen stars in this. It was fine. I think it's, I think it's really unfortunate that it's so similar to Talk to Me, like the concept of this, and like not only are you similar to a horror movie that came out recently, but like one of the best horror movies in the last like decade. Like the idea of you get an opportunity to speak, like the time limit thing, the someone's mother had killed themselves. That's an element in Talk to Me as well. The getting to speak to a dead loved one, but it being sort of a twisted version of them. All of that is just exactly like Talk to Me. So I think it's really unfortunate. I didn't like any of the characters in this at all. Like I hated them. Like didn't like the main character, didn't like her friend. The only character I actually liked in this was the dad, who you see at the beginning and like in a videotape halfway through it. And then I think the creature takes his form towards the end as well. But I hated everybody else and I wanted everyone to die.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I think I liked the mythology of it. I loved the idea of this creature living in the basement and coming out from behind the walls. I kind of want to know more of the story of it, you know, if you know what I mean. I thought the effect or the idea of it eating whatever it is you give it and then becoming that person, I thought that was really interesting. You mentioned the timer. What's the fucking point? At no point in this movie does anybody stick to or listen to the timer. They use it 4 or 5 times, and at no point does anyone go, "Oh, we've hit 2 minutes. We'll best switch it off."
Literally. Whereas I think, you know, in Talk to Me, they have multiple times where they do it and stick to the rules, and it shows how you can use it like effectively. This movie doesn't do that at all.
It gets every time they use it, the creature kind of gets out. It's like, what's the fucking point?
Yeah, I also think, like, you know, Talk to Me has such a great cast of characters. It's you know, it's got some levity. This movie's fucking dour as shit. There wasn't like one humorous moment in it at all. It's just really depressing. I did think there was some, I will say, one of the best jump scares I've ever seen in a movie. There's a bit where this friend is on her laptop and she pulls the laptop down,
that was very good.
and the thing is behind it. That, I mean, I nearly shit myself. But it's a bit cheap because it breaks the rules that they had already established in the movie of like, this thing can't leave. It never tells us that it can have any effect on things outside until later. I do like the whole, like, people are tied to the place.
Saying that, mind, that's not what, I don't think that was the creature leaving the room. I thought that was all of the people who've died in the room or died in the building who looked after it become stuck there, because you see a few different ghosts down in the bar area, don't you, at various points?
Well, I assume, because we do find out later on that the creature, like, it's a witch that it curses people that are there. So I assume it's just the building is kind of cursed, I guess. But like, we had been told previously that something like that wouldn't happen. Do you know what I mean? So you feel safe. Like, its placement is genius, because it really just, I did not expect a jump scare for the next 2 or 3 minutes at least. So I thought that was great. There are some actually tense moments in this, I think, like during those kind of summoning sequences. Like, you are a bit like, shit, what's going to happen? And like the lights will shut out and the thing attacks someone. Like, I thought that was really good. I like the design of the witch when it has the bag over it and it pulls the mask up and eats the item, the token to summon someone. I thought that was great. I thought the element with the guy whose wife died was kind of interesting. Like, at least I liked that. It was, and I sort of felt it coming by the way the conversation was going. But that, like, he wasn't like a grieving husband who wanted one last chance to say goodbye. He was like, who did you cheat on me with? You know, he's just this vindictive bastard. And I thought that was kind of interesting.
I thought the ending was quite brave in that you didn't get your kind of your happy ever after, and I thought that was quite interesting.
For me, the last few minutes saved the movie a little bit. For me, I like that they killed the friend. That's it. They just killed the friend. That's it. I like that they killed the main character. Like, I did think there was more left in the movie. I didn't realize it was the last 5 minutes. It felt like maybe we'll get another half an hour of this, but the movie just kind of ends fairly quickly. But I just like that they just fuck it and killed her and the guy won. Now, that being said, it's the guy who wanted, like, to talk to his wife kills the main character, goes and like makes this deal with the witch to like free the witch. And there's sort of this moment where, because she's possessed by the girl that owns the place, so now she's like, well, I'm the owner, I can leave now, because she's got tied to a living person. But then we get this like montage of, oh, the witch has like put the pieces in place for all of this to happen. Like, oh, she set it up. She like put a letter on a thing, or all the shit, and it's like made this big revelation. And I'm like, I don't really understand anymore now than I did 2 minutes ago of like what this thing actually did, like how this thing has influenced events for this to happen. You know, it didn't really work as a revelation, even though it's showing us.
So that me and my wife both said that was bollocks. We didn't understand that bit at all. It didn't. It was showing you stuff that it had no reference to really. So
exactly,
I didn't get it.
Like you should be able to go back, like after something like that, you should be able to rewatch the movie and go, oh, there's that part. This is that part. This is where this thing is happening. And I'm just like, I don't remember anything now. Yeah. You know, I don't. Yeah. I just don't feel it. Like it didn't feel like a big revelation.
No, it was disappointing. I'm afraid to say, disappointing. I do like the universe. If they did a second one, I would probably go and see it.
There was a really cool, and it felt a bit like the wrong movie to have this in, but there was sort of like an animated sequence of like the origin of the witch. I did really like the backstory of like it's a witch from medieval times.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. And I'm like, well, I kind of wish I saw more of that stuff in live action, you know, than the rest of the movie.
Fuzzy, I wouldn't recommend this one, mate. I don't think you need to see this one.
It's all right. Like it's.
Yeah.
Do you know, Joe, it's just, I think it's another one like Night Swim where it's just like it was based on a short film and maybe it should have stayed a short film. It didn't need to be made into a big thing.
I think you're right. I think it's a shame that it's come on the back of this phenomenal movie, which we've talked about numerous times. Talk to Me. All about kind of communing with the dead. And that brings us on to tonight's kind of end and topic. We talked a little bit last week about Ouija boards and about whether we believed in Ouija boards. And I'm interested, James, what are your thoughts and what are the viewer, Fuzzy, what are your thoughts on kind of stuff like this? You know, this Most Haunted where they go and they commune with the dead and there's things happen. Do you think it's all bollocks, or do you think
it's all bollocks? Literally, you stuck the words out my mouth, Peter. It's all bollocks. Not one. I don't think any of these shows have ever like caught a genuine thing. I used to love. There was this show on Discovery Kids called Mystery Hunters.
Yeah.
Obsessed with it when I was a kid. I loved it. Like I thought they just go around the world and kind of find these, but it wasn't really we're looking for ghosts. It was more just like I think there was an element of that, but like they never found anything. But it was more the history of like the place that they're in and the rumor of what the thing is and stuff. Like I love that. But I think this is all shite. Like I don't think anything here is real.
But do you believe in spirits then? Do you believe in ghosts and the afterlife and things like that?
I don't know. I'm sort of agnostic on the topic, to be honest. Like I sleep better thinking no. But then I suppose it's like, well, there's nothing. But also, I don't want to be a ghost. I don't want to be like stuck somewhere. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of hard to make your mind up on it. Now, I have had like a couple of supernatural experiences in my life. When I was younger, I saw a banshee.
A banshee?
Right before my nanny died. Yeah.
Right.
Like across the road, like a wailing woman. So that happened when I was like 8 or 9.
Right.
So that was a creepy one. And then my house had to be...
Hang on, we're not just skirting over that, James. How do you know it was a banshee? Describe it to me and Fuzzy. Tell us what you saw.
A woman, like in white, like wailing, like oh, but not like that cheesy. It was sort of like
what time of night was this?
It's hard to like vocalize it. It didn't sound.
What time of night was this?
I was like 2 a.m. I looked at the house I lived in at the time. I'd look out the window and I was like the house facing a really long road, and it was sort of like across the road, like a bit down.
Okay.
Like facing my house, like was weird.
And do you link that to you? Because you said your nan died around the same time.
A few days later. The weird thing was I told my parents about it, and then a few days later my nan died.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
So.
Fuzzy's so it was an ambulance.
So
either that or someone that's just got married. Were they in a white dress? Were they not singing?
It might have just been a piss. It's Ireland. A pissed woman at 2:00 singing fucking...
Old Anzina, just something random.
You know, Cotton Eye Joe or whatever. So there's that, and then my house had to be...
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, James. It doesn't feel like conclusive proof that there was a real banshee there.
I mean, do you not trust me, Peter? I think I'm best bros forever. No, you don't believe me? I might have been a dream. Like that's the thing. I don't know.
Oh look, I'm gone fuzzy. Now we're getting the truth. Now you're not convinced, are you?
No, that's the thing. Because I think that would fundamentally change. If you were like, I saw a thing, that would just fundamentally change you as a person. You couldn't go. I wouldn't go a day of my life without talking about that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas this was a thing I forgot about for years. Like I just never mentioned it. Just sort of a background thing. Now that being said, my house had to be blessed when I was younger. Few years later, when my sister saw a ghost. It was like an orb, like floating above her bed, and had a face in it. And she took a photograph of it, and I was like, "Yeah, that looks like a ghost." And I remember watching the History Channel, because for some reason the History Channel used to show ghost things. I remember watching the History Channel a few nights later, and literally it was a brand new episode of a show, and it was on orbs, and it was like ghosts, like balls of light with faces in them and shit. I was like, this is exactly what Laura said. So we had a priest come and bless the house. And the weird thing was, I was supposed to, I can't remember, it was some kind of religious thing. A holiday was around that time. And I was supposed to be singing at church on the night that the priest came. And I told my teacher I might not be able to come tonight because we have a ghost in the house and there's a priest coming to bless the house. Don't tell lies, James said. So I got in trouble at school for just telling the truth, you know.
I've done that. Well, I haven't done it, but we have had, I think, at least twice at work where we've had people who were convinced that there was things in the rooms, the cubicles, and we've had the chaplaincy team come up and do blessings and things like that. And I remember very, very young, just started my nurse training on Ward 8 at the RVI, which was an old, what you call a Nightingale ward. And at the very top of the ward, there's a restroom for the staff. And when I first started working there, you're always told, you know, that's where the ghosts are. Don't sleep in there in the night time and stuff like that. Yeah. No, that's kind of, you this stuff, bollocks. Yeah. But Dot, one of her staff, I remember being on night shift with her and I screaming her head off, and she couldn't stand, she couldn't get up. She felt like there was something pressing down on her shoulders. She'd fell asleep in the room and just couldn't move, and she was screaming. I had to go and open the door, put the lights on, and it was only then that she got up. Whether she was just dreaming or what, or God only knows.
Sometimes you feel a pressure when there's nothing there. Do you know that happens? Also, so where I live now used to be, it has like a really deep history. It's like an old Victorian house. Like, so there was like various kind of royalty owned it back in the day, and then it was a priest brothers, like a parish place. So some fucked up shit's happened here, I'm sure. Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure there's like people used to be executed down in our fields and stuff like that. But so I live in like a newer building. So the building I'm in is like 20 years old. It's next to the original building, and the original building has a ghost in it, apparently called Jeffrey. Okay. And like all the people talk about it, like that's weird shit that happens in the house there. Yeah. So I'm just like, that's. Have
you ever done a ghost hunt? You ever been on a ghost hunt or anything?
No, I'd love us to do one though.
I was going to say, I think we should do that. We should do that.
Cool. Go stay overnight in a haunted. Go find like the, you know, I'm pretty sure there's a few like Airbnb, like B&Bs that are like, oh, this is the most haunted place. Try one of them
loads of places like that. That'll be really cool.
Yeah.
So speaking on the kind of the spiritual side and stuff like that, what do you think of people like this? So these. I mean, this guy's a piss take. He's hilarious. But these mediums that, you know, go out and do live stage shows and they can talk to people and tell you stuff. And the reason I'm asking is my wife is into all this kind of stuff. She went to a thing at the weekend, and she's come back with all of this interest and stuff. Believes just this person told her things about her mother who passed away last year and stuff. Told her things about me and my health and all this kind of stuff. I think it's bollocks.
Oh, the conners. That's the thing. Yeah. It's all fake. So they do. There's a really great. They're called televangelists that do this. So there's a really great John Oliver episode on these guys. Yeah. But they basically have two kind of strategies. They do cold reading, which is you're just kind of throwing guesses out. So like anybody know a P, anyone with a P, or doesn't need to be a name, could be a pet or something like that kind of shit. And they'll just kind of take like say general, very vague general things, and then they kind of narrow it down as you're giving them information, you know, and they'll base that on how old you are and that kind of stuff. And then there's like hot reading is like when you just do prior research on someone. So that's if like you're meeting a celebrity, or like on a talk show, you'll like research the person. Yeah, they're con artists. That's what they do. Like I've seen there's some hilarious videos of like people going to them and saying like, oh, is my son's missing, and they say, oh, he's dead, and it's like he's sitting behind them in the diner, like where they're singing shit like that. You know, it's like they're just scum. Like honestly, I think the worst kind of person to be a predator on people who are desperate and wanting that connection with the people that they've lost. I think it's fucking evil, I think, to take advantage of that, for money.
But they're making big money on it, and people believe it. Do you know what I mean?
Shocking amounts of money, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a believer myself. How about stuff like this? Because you've got this other side of spiritualness. You've got like tarot readings and horoscopes and all that kind of stuff. Do you have any belief in any of that shit?
I'll be in trouble with my missus now if I say no here. The tarot stuff, I'm like, I just don't pay attention to it. Now, I will say, one time when I was younger, had like a horoscope in the newspaper. I read it, and I was going through like a kind of an odd situation at the time, in my personal life, a very specific at that exact time.
Yeah.
Like, you could read that out to somebody and say, what situation do you think a person's in there? And they'll say this very specific thing that doesn't happen to a lot of people. And that was what my horoscope said. And I was really freaked out because I'm like, how the fuck? Like, there's no way every Capricorn is reading that and that's applying to them, you know? So, like, it was so freakishly specific that I kind of have to believe in that now. Really, it was bizarre. Like, I'll tell you after more specifically, but it was just fucking strange. Like,
see, I don't know. I've never had my tarot reading done. I know my wife has, but I don't know if it's something I would get behind. Mystic Meg had me convinced me for years. It's you, I don't know. I know lots of people believe in it, and the whole reading the tea leaves and all that kind of stuff. And there are people who will swear blind, that they've had experiences like you've just described. But I'm not sure. Now, this is interesting. This is all about crystals and relaxology and your different chakras and all that kind of stuff. Now, my wife got into this not so long ago. She did a few courses with her friends and got all the bloody crystals and books and shit like that. And she had us lying on this kitchen table, naked, doing my chakras and rubbing bloody rocks on me bits and stuff like that. And then at the end of it, she told us that my I don't know what the hell it was, my root chakra was blocked, or my throat chakra was slightly to the left, or something like that. What did you think of this, Cac?
So again, I'll be in trouble now if I say anything. No, again, my missus is very into this, and like her sister's actually just started as a spiritual healer.
Yeah.
Who does it? I remember I did it once because I was pretty sure I had COVID at the time, but I was over visiting in Switzerland, and I felt very sick, and she like had me lie on a table, and she was like, there was like a ding on a thing, and just like waving the hands over and stuff, and like blowing and stuff. It was very strange. I don't think I felt any better really after it, to be honest.
Well, so I was exactly the same. At the end of it, I was asked, "Do you feel any different?" No. I think she hit us with some burning bush thing or something at one point as well.
That's another thing. My missus sages me.
Sage.
Yeah, just this burning fucking stinks. Stinks to high heaven. Just this flaming thing of sage, and just waves it. And there was one time she was doing it so fast, I was like, be careful, you're going to burn me. And she said, I'm not going to burn. And literally as she finished the word you, hit me in the arm. Fucking singed me.
Now, what I will say is she's got this, I don't know, this rock thing, one of the rocks, on a chain, or it's like a pendant thing, and you hold it over your hand, and you hold it and you swing it, and when you ask it questions, it moves, and if you lie, it moves in different directions. Now, she told us all this, she demonstrated it, and I said, yeah, that's just bullshit. So I had to go myself, and I literally nearly shit my pants, because when I lied, it went in completely the different directions.
Are you sure you're not like unintentionally, changing how you're holding it or something when you lie, or it might be something in there? I honestly, I think for everything we talk about, for all the spiritual stuff, there is usually a logical explanation for those kind of strange occurrences.
Out of everything we've talked about tonight, this is an area that I've probably got more. I could be convinced because I do think that there's something about different energies that the body produces and things like that we just can't see yet. Do you know what I mean? We don't know enough about.
But also, I think just the word chakra, like I think you're putting a spiritual tag on something that's more of an emotional thing. Like I think when you're around negative people, you become more negative. It's sort of like describing that, but it's just putting kind of a spiritual thing to it.
Yeah. I'm doing bundles of Heather for a fiver, Fuzzy. So, just so you know. So yeah, I find this all very interesting. But it does lead to one question, and I don't want to offend anybody or upset anybody, anything like that. Everybody's entitled to their own beliefs, but all of this stuff kind of links into religion, I guess, and spirituality.
I love
and
this
all the
choice
rest
to represent.
I love every time I see one of these adverts where it's my granny thinks this is Jesus. I just love it. Do you know what I mean?
That's great.
So it does lead into this whole spirituality kind of thing and the religious kind of things. And because if we are to be religious people, then you will believe in spirits and the devil and hell and all that kind of stuff. I'm not a religious person at all, which is ridiculous because I managed the chaplaincy team in a hospital. But I'm not a particularly religious person at all. My personal belief is there's too much suffering and pain in the world for it to be real. But I don't know. What do you think, James? Are you a religious person?
No, I grew up, I'm in Ireland, Catholic school and all that. So it's very ingrained in society here. But I think as time went on, I've become more agnostic. I try not to believe in hell just for my own sanity. Just because I think, if we knew hell was real, I think we'd just live in fear every day. Like, we're horrified, just the idea that is so horrific. I'd rather, I would hope there's nothing instead of that. Unless I went to heaven. Heaven sounds pretty cool. Yeah.
But I guess that's the thing, isn't it? If you are a religious person and you believe in God, the creator and all that kind of stuff, by definition then you must also believe in hell and the devil.
Not necessarily, because the devil is sort of rooted in Christian mythology. It's
in the Bible.
He's a character, effectively, isn't he? I think you can believe religion. I don't really like organized religion. I think it's fine to believe in whatever you want to believe in God or whatever. To believe something created us doesn't necessarily mean there is this place. It's almost like a story you would tell children. There is this evil man who will burn you in hell for all eternity unless you're a good person. Do you know, it is sort of...
Yeah.
And God gave us free will and gave us the ability to make us evil. This sort of just sounds like bullshit to me. I think Jesus was probably the Darren Brown of his time. Where he was just kind of a trickster. That's my guess who the real Jesus was. If he ever did turn water, he just had some red dye in his pocket. He turned water into wine. But yeah, no, I don't think even believing in God or a God or creator even necessarily means there is the devil or a satanic character.
Yeah,
we're getting fucking existential here tonight, man.
Interesting. So we're getting deep.
We're getting deep tonight. Movies,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought we've gone from Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, to the existential crisis of faith? Yeah. It's you're getting it all on this show, Fuzzy and Chris. You're getting it all on this show. It's exciting stuff. Now, that's the end of the show, and we've gone over what we'll normally go over tonight. But, James, this is our latest I'll Be Right Back. Tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah, so we did Valentine 2001, which is a horror movie that I used to watch a lot as a kid. So I've always loved this one. Kind of first time watching it in a long time. Opinions have tweaked on it maybe a little bit, but it's a good one. I think it's one of our best conversations that we've had as well. Yeah. So I'd recommend checking that out. Next week is going to be My Bloody Valentine 3D, which we just recorded there. And that was a really fun conversation as well. My Jensen, my boy is in it, so I'm going to be a shill.
Okie dokie, that's it for another week. Thank you very much to everybody that's tuned in tonight. It is appreciated that you guys do spend some time with we really do. It does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And with that, we'll call it a night. I'm back tomorrow night with Saturday Night Live at 9 o'clock. So check that out over on my channel over on Triple J Comics. And we'll say good night.
And also,
good night. Oh,
it's not
Halloween. Did you call us an arsehole?
No, I said also.
Okay.
But you're also an asshole for trying to end the show before I have my little outro. It's not Halloween, Peter. It's more like Valentine's Day. But I still think everyone's entitled to one good scare.